moving forward, let us create our door. And I'm going to go in our sprites, game sprites, and select the door and go into our sprite editor. I'm just going to remove generate bitmaps. And for our door, we need to configure it. So set the sprite mode to multiple and uncheck generate bitmaps and set the size at 1024, true color, hit apply. And we are going to go in our sprite editor. Now, in order to slice our door, we are going to go here under slice, but we are going to slice them by using grid by cell size. And for the pixel size, I'm going to set it for the X 177 and for the Y 255. And if I slice it now, we have these 4 parts of our door. And I'll simply hit apply. And now I'm going to create the animation for our door. So select all of these and put them here. And this is the animation that we now have for our door. So we see that the door is opening. I'm going to rename it here to door in our hierarchy panel, and I'm going to take these 2 animations, or the animation and its controller, and I've created door animations in our animations folder. I'm going to place them there. I'm also going to create an idle animation for our door. So here I'm going to go and create a new clip, and here I'm going to save it in our door animation. This is going to be the idle. And I'm also going to drag the first frame here, or the first image, and this is our idle animation. And I'm going to put back this panel here, and I'm going to go in our animator, and this is going to be our open animation. And I'm going to set the idle to be the default one. And for the open, I'm going to uncheck the loop time because we don't want it to loop. We want to play it only once. And this is what we need for our door. And lastly, I'm going to apply a box collider on our door. So box collider like this. And let me just save it here in our prefab. So door prefabs, drag and drop our door. And also we are going to apply the door script. So I've created a door script, and let me just go here. Did I apply to it? So I apply to the prefab. Okay. In our scripts folder, I have created our door scripts folder. Inside of it, we have a door script. So simply double click it and MonoDevelop will open it. Now for our door, we need a couple of variables. First, we need a public static instance of our door. So door instance. We also need a private, and we are going to use our collider. So collider or box collider 2D. This is going to be our box. I'm simply going to name it box. And we also need a private animator, which I'm going to name anim. And we also need a public int, which is going to be our collectables count. So collectables count like this. And I'm going to set it to be hidden in the inspector because we don't need it to be, or we don't need to see it in the inspector panel. And here in the awake function, I'm first going to call our void make instance. So instance like this. And here I'm simply going to check if our instance is not equal to null, or if the instance is actually equal to null, then we are going to set the instance to be equal to this, meaning this script right here. So here I'm going to call make instance. I'm also going to get our animator, so get component, passing our animator, so animator, again animator like this. I'm also going to get our box collider, so box is equal to get component, box collider 2D. And we are not going to have an update function. We are going to have void, and this is going to, or excuse me, this is going to be enumerator, open door function. And here what we are going to do is we are simply going to take our animator, we are going to play our open animation, so open. We are going to say yield, return new, wait for seconds, so let's say 0.7 of a second. And then we are going to say our box collider dot is trigger is equal to true, because initially our collider is going to be a non-trigger, but when we open the door, he is going to be a trigger. And here in our void, on collision enter 2D, we are going to check for the collision 2D, and this is going to be our target. We are going to check if our target, so let me just type it right, target dot tag is equal to our player, then at the moment we are simply going to say debug.log game finished. So we're going to say here game finished, or excuse me, this is not going to be on collision, this is going to be on trigger enter. So on trigger enter, and this is going to take collider 2D as an argument. So excuse me for that. And here we are also going to have a public void function, which is going to be decrement collectables. We are simply going to name it decrement collectables. And here I'm going to type collectables count minus minus, and we are going to check if our collectables count is equal to 0. If this is true, then we are going to open our door. So here I'm going to call our open door function. So start coroutine passing our open door function. This is what we are practically doing, or what we are going to do for our door. Now, unfortunately, we cannot test this out before we create our collectables. So I'm going to go here in our prefabs and create collectables prefabs, and I'm going to go here in our sprites and I'm going to drag and drop our collectables. So collectible 0, 1, we have collectible 2, and I did not apply the name for our, let me just go here and I need to apply the name for this one. This is our air collectible and this is our time, so time collectible, and hit apply. Now I'm going to name these collectibles to diamonds. So this is going to be diamond, so diamond 1, and let me just copy this here. So this is going to be diamond 2, and this one is going to be diamond 3. I'm also going to set their scale at 0.5, 0.5, and I'm going to apply a box collider on them, and that box collider is going to be a trigger. And we are going to go here in our scripts folder and create here collectible scripts. So collectables scripts, and this is going to be our diamond script. So diamonds, so diamond script, and we are going to apply this to each of our diamond here. So I'm going to search for the diamond script and apply on them, and I'm going to save them here in our collectible prefabs. So here, here, and here. And now I'm going to open this diamond script, and what we are going to do in our diamond script is when we run the game, we are going to call our door script here. So we are going to say our door.instance, and we are going to say our collectibles count plus plus. So we are going to increment the collectibles count because initially this is 0, and we are going to increment our collectibles count. And since our diamond script, or since our diamonds are triggers, we are going to say here on trigger enter, so trigger enter 2D, which is going to take a collider 2D. I'm going to name it target, and we are going to check here if our target dot tag is equal to player. So if we touch the player, or if the player collects our diamonds, we are going to call our door.instance.decrement collectables. So now we can test out, and just to make sure, we can say here if our door.instance is not equal to null. So simply to check it like this, we can do the same thing here. So let me just take if our door instance is not null, and I'm going to copy this right here, and instead of decrementing or incrementing collectibles, I'm going to call decrement collectibles. So now we can test this out. I'm going to take the door and put it here. So place the door here, and I'm going to set our diamond. So here diamond 1, diamond 2, and our diamond 3 here. And let me just create or uncheck our player. So here is our player. So now what we are going to do is we are going to run our game. Notice now if I try to go through the door, I'm not able to. But notice now when I collect first collectible, so did I tag everything? Oh, excuse me, what I need to do is I need to go back here, and if we touch our player, we also need to destroy our collectible, so destroy game object. So we need to destroy them, and notice now If I go here, we see that we cannot, well, move through the door. If I collect the collectible 1, 2, and if I collect the last one, we see that the door has opened, and now I can go here and we see game finished. So for this is what we are going to use our door, or why we have used these collectibles count, because in our game we are going to place our collectibles throughout the whole level. And the player is not going to be able to finish the game unless he collects all the collectibles. And we are going to use our collectibles here in order to call our collectibles count to increment it. And when we touch the player, then we are going to call decrement collectibles. When our collectibles count is 0, then we are going to open our door and set our box collider to be a trigger, and now our player can move through our door. So we are done with our door and our collectibles. We are going to see how can we use our other collectibles, so our air and our timer collectibles, but we are going to do that a little bit later. Next, we're going to see how can we create our bouncer and how he can bounce our player to the sky.